if in fact evidence was presented to the jury at the trial which was in violation of the defendant's constitutional rights. There's your argument. Judge, there should have been a hearing held first to determine what the scope is of evidence that should have come in that might be impacted by immunity. That didn't happen. Therefore, this trial was tainted. The jury heard evidence that the jury should not have heard. Therefore, the conviction should be vacated.
Okay, Randy, what about this theory that because it is indefinitely postponed, that once Trump leaves the White House January 20th, 2029, that this could reactivate, so to speak, that he could still face sentencing? Is that far-fetched at the moment?
It's ridiculous. First of all, the man is going to be, what, 82, 83 years old? He's one of, what, 2 human beings in the world that have ever held the office of president on 2 separate occasions. And let's face it, in the intervening period between 20 and 24, he got more attention than the president of the United States is. So for all intents and purposes, the man has been president in one shape or another for 12 years. He got the largest amount of votes of any human being who wasn't the president, and he won this presidency by a landslide. Can we stop this already? Enough is enough. Just because you should do something or you could do something, that doesn't mean that you should. Mr. Bragg should walk away and focus in on what's really going on, like cleaning up the streets of Manhattan. Again, we've got.
Okay, so Randy,
go ahead.
Randy, though, if you're Alvin Bragg and members of his prosecutorial team, and you don't want the motion to dismiss the case entirely brought about by Judge Merchan, what are your arguments for keeping it alive if you're Bragg and members of his team?
First of all, I wouldn't. In fact, if I were Bragg, I would take the high road and I would make the motion, or I would join in the motion. But if you want to be an obstructionist, you could take the position that the Supreme Court decision is not retroactive. You could take the position that it's not in violation of this individual's constitutional rights. It has to do with the office of the presidency. You can come up with all kinds of stuff, but why would you? This country needs to start healing. It needs to come together. I saw a very interesting thing said today, which is Alvin Bragg may represent the people of the state of New York, but the people of the United States of America spoke, and they resoundingly said that Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. Can we leave the man alone already and let him do his job?
So, Randy, though, the question on immunity will factor, though, into the motion to dismiss the case entirely. Won't the argument have to be made that whatever Trump was convicted of in this case, those 34 felony counts of filing a false business record, that argument will have to be made that fell under official acts, those payments to Stormy Daniels. Who's going to make that argument? It seems somewhat of a heavy lift, does it not?
Well, the interesting thing, Andrew, is that you don't have to get to the heavy lift yet. The first thing that should happen is that Justice Merchan should vacate the conviction. Then, if Alvin Bragg wants to slow walk the case or decide not to bring the case at all, that's a graceful out for everyone. But as far as the heavy lift of whether or not he was acting in furtherance of the office of the presidency, the easy argument is that he was trying to protect the office of the presidency. He was trying to protect his office. And who really is going to push up all that seriously against it?
All right, Randy Zellen, can't thank you enough. Wanted to get in all those questions here. But final note on this, Randy, is this case on pause for the time being, indefinitely now?
I think it's going to be until Justice Merchan either sees enough from the defense motion. I believe they have until December 2nd to make that motion. If they make a fulsome enough 440 motion, I believe he will grant it. And quite frankly, again, if I'm Alvin Bragg, it's enough already. I would make the motion, and I would certainly join in it.
All right, Randy Zellen, as always, have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. You too.
Join live now from Fox Thanksgiving Day as we bring you live images images from parades and celebrations around the nation. Live and uninterrupted parade coverage without the chit-chat. Just the sights and sounds of Thanksgiving celebrations.
My favorite float so far is the Pikachu one.
Join live now from Fox for Thanksgiving celebration like never before. Coverage begins at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. A perfect background to your family gathering.
Welcome into Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. Let's now head to Montgomery County in Texas, where officials there are speaking up about their recent efforts to combat human trafficking in the area.
Good morning, my name is Freddie Croft. I'm the lieutenant with the Houston Police Department Special Victims Division, and I play the role of ICAC commander for the Houston Metro ICAC Task Force. Before I go into too much about the operation from the ICAC standpoint, I do really want to thank Constable Gable, Captain Acosta, the HPD Human Trafficking side, and the Montgomery County DA's office for coming together on this collaborative effort. A special thanks to Montgomery County Precinct 3 Constable Detective Ashley Walker. She was the one that really spearheaded this operation. Historically, ICAC and human trafficking have worked separately. This was the first time that we've really come together in a collaborative effort, and I think the results show for themselves. These type of operation will be the new model that we target online offenders that are targeting our children, and really excited for the future and what that holds. Over the past decade, the prevalence of online exploitation has exploded. We've seen an increase of over 500% over the past decade in the amount of crimes that are reported to us at the Houston Police Department ICAC unit, and that encompasses the greater Houston area. Before COVID, we were getting about 3,000 cases reported to us a year. The past 2 years, we've gotten over 20,000 cases reported to us. So with the exponential rise of this, we've been looking at new and creative ways to tackle these problems. For anybody looking for resources from the child exploitation side, children are targeted online all the time by offenders in various methods. I always want to give a shout out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have a ton of resources out there for parents, educators, and people in the community, both on the prevention side and how to recover if you are a victim of this crime. They manage the cyber tip line, their website does, where you can report if you are a victim of one of these crimes, and it'll get routed to one of the 61 different ICAC task forces across the U.S., depending on where you're located. And most importantly, I do always want to give a call out to parents and members of the community to really talk to your children. That's the only way we're going to be able to really combat these crimes, is getting with the children, talk to them about what they're doing, what their habits are online, and better ways to be safe. So please be involved, be part of the solution. In closing, I think it's clear that with this type of operation in the Houston area, we take this seriously. Online targeting of children online will not be tolerated. We will find you, and you will be held accountable for your actions. especially up here in Montgomery County with the great work that Precinct 3 Constable's Office and all the partner agencies do. So if you have any questions on the ICAC side or the child exploitation side, I can help answer those as well.
Is there any more questions for anybody?
Have anybody in Spanish that can give us some comments?
We have some.
That's what I was thinking. Is this, there was not now, is anybody that can, not only anybody on the media, but especially saying it, that what's going on. How do you know the one people, because they're illegal or illegal, or they're, people, sometimes vendors that be walking in, all the information is out, not only that, it's research, so you guys are able to translate it, and they're able to place out there. So the Hispanic community, I have a radio show with fully bilingual. I'm able to, today, I'm having a full show about this, and I would like to know why is it that I'm able to tell my community, more than 7,000 people live in the that are able to know what's going on, how it's going to go, and I know that you guys are in the bottom of the research. I mean, that you guys try to get the head of the person, because you guys are going to get to the head one day, but I need to know more. I would appreciate
I want to make sure you said a lot, so I want to make sure I answer your question properly. So, you want to know what law enforcement can do to help educate the Hispanic community? Is that essentially?
So basically, if this information is going to completely translated in Spanish correctly, most of my listeners, they don't know how to read and write in Spanish.
Right.
They are going to Telemundo, Univision, and all to learn what's going on. So basically, we have to deal with this part of the community. Another part of the community are able to understand and read the English and Spanish correctly. So I'm trying to figure it out. Is there any type of outfit or everything is completely integrated, from what went and whatever, and at the same time, call it to the person from now on, and who do they need to call if they are victims? Most of those people know that they're victims and they're being targeted. They're being targeted because of the impact of not knowing what is, and especially if they're minors.
So in terms of the translation, I think we can get with our public information officer. We'll get with Precinct 3 and see how we can have this presser transcribed, translated so that it's available for the Latino community. So I'll tell you that regardless of where you come from,